We are getting people. Hello, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let's give a couple of minutes so more people can get connected, and then we can start. Okay, I think we can get started. Hello, world, and welcome to another episode of Kiuwan's webinars. So today's webinar is Manage Your Application with Portfolios. My name is Aaron Martinez, and I'm joined today with the one and the only JD Bird. We're both sales engineers with Kiuwan. Kiuwan is a company that makes SaaS and SDN product, and hopefully all of you that are joined today are users of Kiuwan and have some questions about how to manage your applications and portfolios with your Kiuwan account. And while the time gets down here, hopefully we have taught you something about it. The agenda for today will do a very quick introduction of Kiuwan, brief overview of the application management. Then we'll take a deeper dive into how to manage your applications, including a deeper dive into setup and managing portfolios. Then we will bring it back to the surface again and close it off with our Q&A session. Please remember, there is a question panel too. And as well, this session is being recorded if you want to check it out some other day. So please go ahead and type all your questions, and we'll try to fill those as we go along. So a little bit about Kiuwan. Kiuwan is a global company that is owned by Adira. Adira is the same company that owns Preemptive, TestRail, Simbla, RunnerX, and Trevi CI. You may have heard some of those, I'm pretty sure. Kiuwan is based in Spain, and we make a hybrid SaaS product that does SaaS and SCA. So static applications and security testing and software composition analysis. So before we start, let's make sure we are comfortable with some terms for those who is the first time hear about Kiuwan. Kiuwan is a SaaS tool. For those who don't hang out in the security application world, SaaS is a source code analysis concept where you analyze the source code of your application and search of security flaws or defects. Right. In a more holistic big picture kind of way, SaaS lives over on the left end. That's when the most loved security reviews done by software is in this linear SDLC model, as opposed to DAST and ES, Pentest, SOC, and so on, as you can see. Kiuwan does both SAST and SCA, but it has some artifacts that delivers to these other blocks. I will show you later on. So your source code is analyzed for coding patterns in the SAS models and software composition analysis models that are known to be security weaknesses, defects, or vulnerabilities. That's defined by the various standards and organizations that your organization or enterprise may care about. So Kiuwan is aware and checks your code for normative and frameworks like you see in this, including in the list. Some more than 12 standards and more than 20 frameworks. You can always check the documentation to see the latest list we have available. Okay. Once those vulnerabilities are identified in the source code, they can be managed either by changing a specific line of code, for example, by jumping into the IDE using one of our plugins, or muting from time to time. You will, in this long list of vulnerabilities, have other reason to mute and skip over a given vulnerability. Or with our action plan concept, where we take items to be worked and push them into an action plan that can be sent out to your task tracking or IDE. Another way you can manage this is with compensating controls within your ecosystem. For example, you may know that you have vulnerabilities in your source code, which you might choose or you might determine that the best way to mitigate or handle that risk is with compensating controls on the right side of the pipeline loaded at your SOC level. Similar analysis techniques can be used for third-party and open source components. Let's say that the code you or your organization use may not have the rights or the source code to modify. That's a pretty common situation. And you might know those components are OSS, open source software, and the analysis software composition analysis, SCA. Now, a quite important that SAST and SCA tools can for, or what you might know as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, OWASP top 10, OWASP maybe CWEs, CVEs, depending on your shop. Kiuwan refers to them as this. And these are just examples, but they all map to some of the terms we were talking about earlier. The normative I showed you earlier, like again, like OWASP, OWASP, PCI DSS, etc., etc. Kiuwan is a hybrid SaaS and SCA tool. So it's SaaS with augmentation engine and result database with a downloadable on-prem source code analyzer. The basic analysis of your source code is loaded into our cloud analytics engine for augmentation and analytical post-processing. With our hybrid cloud model, you can deploy the Java-based analyzer across your organization. That Java-based analyzer called Kiuwan Local Analyzer, or KLA, gives you flexibility about how much of your source code will be uploaded in the results database with each analysis. Our dashboard gives you or your organization a view of your source code. Not only includes security aspects, operational tasks, and SCA, but also from an ISO 25000 point of view. Maybe you're familiar with this concept, and ISO 25000 is also known as SQUARE, or software quality pillars of efficiency, portability, maintainability, and reliability, as well, of course, code security. As I have mentioned before, Kiuwan is a hybrid solution and looks something like this. So many of you hopefully have seen this or have a version of this that you log into your enterprise or your organization. We will walk over some of the functionalities of Kiuwan today, as shown in the administration menu, which is in the upper right-hand corner after you log in. And if you go to your dashboard and log in and click on that upper right-hand menu, it will down something like this. And of course, we plan on stepping through application management today, so you have an idea of what features or functionalities are taken in there and how to leverage those to fine-tune Kiuwan for your organization and to your application security initiatives. It's very important to clarify the concept that Kiuwan has of application. A Kiuwan application is registered as a unit of analysis to which a quality or security model is associated. It means a set of rules and metrics to be analyzed and which represent the quality or security standard to be or that is required to that application. As the concept of application is variable, the user can choose what is the analysis unit, respect to the source code of its deployment. For example, there are organizations that associate elements with each Kiuwan application, such as business processes, software modules, software packages, logical group of programs, client or server or web applications, etc. So we will show you how to manage your applications in Kiuwan. The application management menu is the one that allows you to administer individual applications. So as we mentioned before, Kiuwan is a SaaS and SCA tool, and we analyze the applications or the apps that are submitted to Kiuwan in different manners. Can be as a file, we all upload the file directly into the platform, or as the majority of our customers, via the Kiuwan local analyzer, that the Java menu. And then once they are created, either via KLA or from this menu, you can start administer them with a series of functions. So all those are via these pull-down menus, either from application or in a bulk, I just select those and allows you to do several things, but we will explain in detail. So, to add a new application, click Add under the Applications menu, and a new window will appear, as you see in the screen. Enter the name of your new application. Click Save. And then click Show Advanced Options to enter more information. A new window will open. Now we can enter all the details as needed. For example, application name and description. Here, they allow you to identify the new application. Please make sure that the name is not repeated. And you can also add an optional brief description. The modal parameters. Model, it allows you to select the model you will use, the subsequent analysis that you will perform on the application. Force model in deliveries. By default, a delivery uses the model and version used in its baseline. If this option is checked, the delivery will use the last version of the model. Characteristic target. It can be set for each of the 5 CQM software characteristics. For all these fields, you can enter values from 0 to 100 that represents the goal to achieve. I take this opportunity to briefly define what is an audit. Kiuwan application has a quality or security model associated with, but it can be assigned an audit model, set of pass, fail control points, or checkpoints, as we call them, that depends on the results of the analysis and that can constitute a quality or security gate or accept or reject a change for violating mandatory standards. Kiuwan applications can also have a centralized configuration of the rules and the local parser. For example, to configure the different programming languages, or they include skilled patterns to select filters or sort files. In this case, as you see here, the audit allows you to select the audit you will use in the subsequent analysis that you will perform on the deliveries of the application being created. And here we can see how we can assign the application to the different portfolios. This is the topic, or one of the main topics of today's webinar, and we will see it with more details in a few minutes. And then you can update any of the previous fields using the drop-down menu to the right of each application, like delete, classify, model, delete, audit. And in the case for the both actions, you can edit multiple applications, select the ones you want to edit by checking them or checking the checkbox on the left, then open the drop-down bulk action menu and select the requested or needed action. Here now, it's very important to mention that the Kiuwan applications or Kiuwan app applications are established through portfolios. A portfolio is a collection of labels which can be associated with applications to form groups. Kiuwan aggregates or adds the data, defects, indicators, and metrics in the defined portfolios. Okay. An example of portfolio could be environment, with example values, development, pre-production, production. Another example could be by the level of criticality for the business, how critical is for the business. And Kiuwan allows you to select a portfolio and browse the aggregated results according to the select portfolio. In the example just mentioned, the results for the production environment could be consulted. So Kiuwan's portfolio applications management goal is to group applications under these user-defined concepts. So the management of these groups is logical, and that the data referring to each group of applications can be viewed in a consolidated manner. Portfolio will have a hierarchical structure in the format tree, as we can see it in the example below. In this example, we have listed 3 categories according to which we want to organize the applications: provider, country, and technology. Each existing application in Kiuwan must be classified according to the values created under one of these categories. That is, each application must belong to at least one provider, one country, and use at least one of the available technologies. The relationship between applications and values of category is 1 to n. This means an application can be related to more than one value for a category. For example, an application can use more than one technology, such as COBOL and Java at the same time. Each application must be classified by all the categories created. In the previous example, as we saw, we will have to assign at least one provider, country, and technology. And if the user does not classify an application for any of the existing categories, the unassigned value will be assigned by default. With correctly classified applications, we are able to calculate consolidated metrics by category. That is, in the previous example, users will be able to follow the evolution of their suppliers' nodes, developments by region or technology. Now let's add a new portfolio. Click Add, and a new pop window appears. This new screen is divided into 3 sections. First is the group of portfolios, which is the name of portfolio group. Then description, where we write something relevant or description of the use of this portfolio in particular. Then portfolios. This field allows you to enter new portfolio values in the text box. Click Add to create it and set identical values for different portfolios. Once it's added, the list will appear to delete it if needed. The same operation applies if you want to edit a portfolio. To add new values to a portfolio group or remove existing ones, open the drop-down window menu on the right and then select Edit. You can update or modify the parameters. If you want to delete a portfolio, just click on Delete action, and it will allow you to delete a portfolio group. Now that we have created the portfolios, we can, for example, filter applications by portfolios. Let's see. If we're interested in, let's say, business value, it will show the applications for the different values of the business value portfolio. For instance, critical, high, medium, etc. If we select by language, we have as well display our applications according to language it was coded or it's coded. For example, COBOL or Java. And the same same applies for the methodology, for example, here. The different methodologies used during our development. Another example can be, let's say, filter them by country. We can list the countries where our application is deployed. Different countries here, India, Korea, etc. Or let's say we can do this by the team. We can see the business analysts, the mainframe experts, all the stakeholders of our application. All right. Some tips when defining portfolios. The first thing is that definition of an application has to follow some needs in the context of application management. It must be simple for a business team member to explain, understand, and apply. It must make sense to the development, operations, and project management in the IT groups. And it must be useful for the members of the enterprise architecture team who are tempted to judge a project with respect to their objectives for portfolio optimization and simplification. So this is something that we share with you. And for all of you who already have the governance module enabled, you can get a lot of information about your portfolios in the governance summary, which is a comprehensive aggregate view of your application portfolio. It provides you global analytical data that will help you to gain insights about your applications and let you inspect global values and trends based on data collected from your analysis. Depending on selected data range, it summarizes application data group by global values for the most important Kiuwan indicators, such as number of applications and global size, risk index, security rating, global indicator, technical depth. This is topic for another webinar, and hopefully we can prepare something for you. All right. Sum up, Kiuwan governance consists of a series of dashboards that help you to manage the overall portfolio quality, risk, security, technical depth, and more. For example, the decision quadrant helps you make decisions based on the business value of the application and either the security rating, the risk index, the failure risk, or the maintenance risk. So now we are open for the questions and answers, and we are waiting if you have some questions. Cesar Arias is asking if it's possible to check web applications, and the answer is yes. If you can get the source code for your web application, that's the case. If you mean about DAS analysis, we cannot do that. Remember that we perform only SAST analysis and SCA, of course. Well, we are getting a lot of questions now. It's another question from Cesar. It's regarding, is there a license of applications? The licensing model of Kiuwan is regarding the lines of code. So we license according to the lines of code that your application has. So you can have as many applications as fits in the license of the lines of code you have in Kiuwan.
Antonio, Elena has one question regarding how many levels deep can you classify applications, and it depends how you classify your application. But in the case when I show you regarding, for example, provider, you can add as many providers as you need, or you can add as many categories or as many portfolios as you need. So remember the relation between one application to n portfolios or n classifications that you can assign. Okay. Juan Ortiz is asking us how risk index is calculated and how portfolio is affected. And for that, I would like to provide you more detailed information because it's a complex set of equation and statistical models. Will be better if I can explain with some other examples. Okay, let me see if we have some more questions. So kindly, JD, it's providing some links to our documentation where some of the questions that you have can be answered with deeper detail or with more details. So I beg you that you can go and visit or click the links, and probably some of these questions can be answered. Another question from Cesar. Yes, it's possible always to demo Kiuwan. Please drop us an email. You can see our coordinates, and yeah, we can always show you and provide you some live demo of our product. All right. Let's see if we have some more questions. All right, so I think we can wrap it up here. Please see our coordinates here where you can reach us. Please drop us an email whenever you have a question, and we will do our best to answer you. And I want to thank JD for joining me and helping me to answer all the questions that you had. And please stay safe and stay healthy, and hopefully we can hear each other again in the next webinar, Q1. Thank you very much.